I've really enjoyed this morning's session, and I do indeed have PowerPoint envy. Happily, I checked my email this morning, and it turns out that if I send some money to the Far East, they will increase the size of my deck by 4 megs. So I'm going to absolutely take them up on that. One of the things that worries me is that I have absolutely no thunder left at this point. All of the really important points have already been made. So what you're going to see now is probably stuff that you've heard before. So please try and bear with me. I teach at a business school, so I have a tendency to dumb things down, okay? I know that you guys are smarter than that. I want to see the hands of the people who are in marketing another time. Okay. Now, and those of you who are not in marketing. You've got to see somebody about that. All right, so it's about a 50-50 split. Let me ask you, how many of you have actually worked with content profiling before? Not very many, okay. How many of you have worked with personas? More, but not enough. Okay, good. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about, for God's sakes. I have to entertain you people for half an hour. Right, well, we can start by going to the Wikipedia, which is, of course, the oracle for everything. And this is the definition of marketing. It's a process by which companies determine what products or services may be of interest to customers. It's interesting. It's intelligence gathering. And that's not usually the way we look at marketing. We see marketing as being, yelling at people. The other point is also interesting, how companies create value for customers and how they build strong customer relationships. And relationships is a word that we're going to hear a lot about the next half hour, in order to capture value from the customers in return. So again, there's stuff that's coming back. Now, let me tell you, I think this is a really weird definition. So if any of you agree with me, then go out on the Wikipedia and put something better up there, because this is odd. But it has important points in it. Now, if we look at social media, it's information designed to be disseminated, distributed, through accessible and scalable publishing techniques. And the publishing techniques are blogs and Twitter and microblogging and so on and so forth. This is actually a pretty good definition. The problem is that when we talk about social media these days, this is really what we're talking about. Everything that didn't fit in the other bucket. And the marketers love social media. They don't know shit about social media, but they love it because it's like really, really good. And because nobody really knows very much about social media, I mean, anybody who has more than 20 followers on Twitter is suddenly a guru. And they can go to Handelshochschule or to the Harvard Business School and say, well, I'll tell you everything I know about social media. And they get away with it, which is the killer. So marketing, the easy view, though, is a company yells at a group that you happen to be in. That's my definition. It's the sideshow barker. It's somebody saying, buy my product, do this, come and visit me. We have a table inside. I just came back from Madrid, and I was a little early for lunch because the Spanish eat very, very late, and my stomach was not attuned to Spanish time. So I'm on the Plaza Mayor, and there were no fewer than 15 white-coated waiters waiting for people to come and eat at their restaurant. Just like W.C. Fields. Shills, come eat at my restaurant because my calamari are better than his calamari. Social media is really when a friend whispers in your ear. It's a very, very different kind of interaction. And yet, what do we see on Google, the oracle, Google, that invented everything? W.C. Fields, find the cheapest price for W.C. Fields on these online shops. I mean, this is the way marketers think. You say, well, it's not relevant, but I'll say it anyway. And if I say it really loud and really often, then it must be true. How many of you are familiar with this? One. Oh, two. Okay. Don Peppers and Martha Rogers, PhD, wrote this book called, well, they sort of invented the concept of one-to-one marketing. And it was not a question of what I could give to a group, but what I, as a company, or a service provider could give to you specifically. That sounds kind of like social media. Let's take a look at some of the terms, buzzwords. One-to-one marketing means, hey, I'm talking to you, dude. Or dialogue marketing, hey, dude, answer me when I'm talking to you. Or permission marketing, hey, dude, you invited me to this party. You opted in when you signed up for the service. Personalization marketing, hello, Eric Ries, you invited me to this party. And then, of course, social media marketing. And the truth is, I don't think that there is such a thing as social media marketing. A lot of people will disagree with me, but they certainly talk about it. Let's see how that plays out. In the old days, we used to talk about demographics. We talked about, well, these are people who are, you know, one-eyed, blind fishermen living in wherever, you know, who are looking for a washing machine. Because we know that one-eyed fishermen need washing machines. Several, in fact. It's a proven fact. Now, of course, we're talking about behavior. This is also a word that we've heard a lot about today. We, in the old days, used to control the message. I mean, we were putting these in magazines. It was not dynamic media that we were working with. And, of course, today, our customers are creating the buzz. And as Darren pointed out, I mean, boy, you know, people can get on Twitter and they can kill you. Just think of Del Hell. How many of you are familiar with Del Hell? Okay, well, that goes to show what happens when you ignore social media. But it's not social media marketing. We used to ask our customers what we think, and we still do, and we do polls and so on. But the truth is, today, oh, that was impressive. I have to figure out what all these buttons are. Today, our customers are having a conversation with our brand, and this is really what social media is all about. It is the conversation. It's a dialogue. It's incredibly important. Instead of dictating, we're serving. These are key differences between social media and traditional marketing, and this is also why to call social media marketing, or to consider that as a bucket into which you can put your money, is probably not a really good thing. Now, I want to show you something very interesting. This is a screenshot that I took last night. This is Martha Rogers' Twitter page. Anybody want to point out a couple of interesting anomalies for somebody who invented one-to-one marketing? Anybody have anything to say? She doesn't have any followers. She's only tweeted 5 times. She hasn't been online since the beginning of July. What is that, 8, 9 months ago? And all of her stuff is broadcast. She is trying to apply traditional marketing rules to social media, and it doesn't work that way. I mean, yes, you can broadcast all you want on Twitter, but it doesn't mean that you're going to end up having that dialogue with your customers. And so you're really not getting much out of it. Now, the truth is, though, that social media is expensive, and so maybe Martha is on the right track. Maybe the services that she is providing don't really translate well to social media. So let's work this out. Let's say that you're spending an hour a day working on your Facebook profile and tweeting and thinking about all the pithy blog things that you're going to write. Does that sound reasonable? How many of you use about an hour a day on social media? Okay, we'll do the math. Let's figure out that there are 200 working days a year.